These are my Polyend Tracker Plus first impressions.
Freebie.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Freebeat. Today's patron shoutout goes to Jury. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. Let me start off just by thanking Polyend for sending me out this Tracker Plus. However, this video is not sponsored. No money was paid. No money exchanged hands or anything like that. If you would like to support the channel, simply head over to patreon.com/freebeat or just watch this video to the end and leave a like or dislike on it. So this is the Polyend Tracker Plus. It is the new and improved version of the original full-sized Polyend Tracker Plus, which I borrowed from Zounds.com a couple years ago and wound up deciding that it was my favorite groovebox of all time, and then that was replaced by the Polyend Tracker Mini over here, which was an upgraded version of the Polyend Tracker in a smaller form factor. Now they released the Polyend Tracker Plus, which is a more upgraded version of the Polyend Tracker Mini, but then they also brought those upgrades to the Polyend Tracker Mini. So, long story short, these two devices are virtually identical now. The big upgrades over the original tracker that they both have is they now have built-in synth engines. There's now audio and storage over USB, which is really, really nice. They can also both handle stereo samples, which was a highly requested feature from a lot of folks. In terms of unique features, the Tracker Mini has a built-in microphone, and the Tracker Plus, along with the original tracker, has a built-in radio. Now, I actually got this in late last night and took a quick look at it, and I actually sat down and banged out a very simple beat, and then it was time for bed. So I took the SD card out of the Tracker Plus, put it in the Tracker Mini, and went and laid in bed for a bit and continued to work on it. And now, check this out. Simply grab the SD card, throw it into the Tracker Plus. Here's the project I was working on. Just like that. It's that easy. So let's talk hardware here on the Tracker Plus, because a few things have changed. For one, the jog wheel is now a bit more rigid, I believe. And it was kind of stiff out of the box last night, but it's either I've just gotten used to it or it has become a bit more fluid, but it feels really good. I had one of the later model original Polyend trackers, so I didn't have any jog wheel failure or anything like that. I know some of the earlier units had some problems, but from what I know, those were all fixed, and I'd imagine this is an even better version of that. So yeah, feels really good. And the buttons themselves are supposedly a soft touch top now. To me, they don't feel any different than the originals. And I actually have a Polyend Play Plus right here. And these feel identical. So, I don't know. I mean, they feel good. They're very clicky and plasticky, and I love that feeling. So, no complaints from me. And frankly, I'm not a huge fan of soft touch, so I like that these are not really noticeable if they are soft touch. Now, like I said, in terms of features, it's virtually identical to the Tracker Mini on the 2.0 firmware, which I've been using for just a little while before it came out. And it was very easy to jump back into the full-size tracker. In one of my Tracker Mini videos, I said that I did not miss the pads or the jog wheel. However, after coming back to the pads and jog wheel, I'm a bit more torn. I'm not actually sure what I like more. I think it really depends on where I'm using it. If you're unfamiliar, the pads and jog wheel are typically used on the Tracker Plus here, or full-size tracker, for... Well, that was a bad note. For playing your sounds and auditioning things, as well as a bunch of shortcuts, like step jump here. And I will say, when it comes to things like... the shortcuts, like adjusting step jump or jumping from pattern to pattern very quickly, the pads are definitely superior. Also, when it comes to editing, where's a good example? Here, like a delay send. For fine-tuning, The action of using your thumb on the jog wheel with your main fingers here or your fingers on these main buttons here, including the arrow keys, is pretty nice. But on the other hand, here on the Tracker Mini, having the large plus and minus for increments of 10 or octaves when you're sequencing notes, and then the smaller ones for single increments or semitones when you're sequencing notes, combined with the D-pad over here, it makes for a very good portable experience. So I think there's definitely a world for both of these, and I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to pick one that I prefer. Obviously, this on the go isn't as ideal, at least for me. I like being able to, hold things in my hand like this. But then again, also, if I'm using this like on a flat surface in the studio, it's not going to be very good either. So I think they both suit their use case very, very well. That being said, it has been a blast to get back to the pads. I think that for actually writing and testing out parts, the pads are superior. It's going to be very interesting to see how folks that have both of these units use them together, especially with how easy it is to switch between the device. You just move the SD card and that's it. Polyend Tracker Plus does have a leg up when it comes to editing patches of the internal synths though. So let's jump to a new project really quick for that. Pick a patch. Let's grab Destroyer Base. That one's cool. If we go to Edit Patch on here, we can see we've got this 4x4 grid of different pages for the synth engine. And the way you actually go between those is with the 4x4 grid down here on the pads. And you still have the ability to preview your sounds on the empty pads. So it becomes a very, very fast and intuitive experience. Like, I can just glance at this. I want to go to M5. Boom, right there. M5. Envelope 1, right there. LFO 1, right there. Voice, right there. Oscillator, right there. And then I move between the individual sections of the synth with the arrow keys, and then adjust the values with the jog wheel with the thumb in that motion I talked about. If you've ever used an original Polyend Tracker, you'll know how good this feels to do. And the fact that it's just kind of this two-hand thing here, and really the only controls you have to worry about up here are when it's time to save or overwrite, or I guess overwrite or save as, and then initialize a patch if you want to. It's all just right there. So like for instance, I want to go to the amp envelope. Let's take the attack off and let's make it kind of snappy. Go into envelope 1, I just switched there because I believe that by default is routed to the filter. Whoop, yep, so I want the filter, so there we'll go there. It's all just right there. We can mess with the FM parameters, which I am terrible at FM and understanding how it works. But yeah, it's all just right there, and then we can go in when it's time to sequence. Yeah. And then you still have all the, normal tracker shortcuts and workflow. Whoops, messed that up. I meant to go down an octave like that. Just like that. So this was kind of an interesting video to make because on one hand, yeah, I'm giving my initial thoughts and impressions of a brand new piece of hardware, but it's an upgraded version of a piece of hardware that I've already used. So I've already used it on the hardware end, and I've also already used the upgrades on the software end on the Tracker Mini. So do I like it? Yeah, I absolutely love it. I already know because I declared the original version, the older model, to be my favorite groovebox of all time, which then was upended by this and all of its upgrades. But now these upgrades are back on the original hardware. So It's a fun loop. But yeah, I already know I love this thing, and having the synths on board is fantastic. I can't tell you how nice it is to be able to move samples and audio around over USB, both on the Mini and the Tracker Plus. I'm very excited at the ability to just take the SD card and swap over to the Mini and then back and forth. I'm going to be doing that a lot, and I'm sure I'll be talking about that in the future on the channel. Really quick, let's talk price. The Tracker Plus goes for $799 US. I won't sugarcoat it. It is expensive. However, if you're looking to get away from the computer but still compose like through music, a Tracker is going to be the way to go. And I mean, it's not really that much more than the Mini, which is $699, or the Dirty Wave M8, which is $649, I believe. So depending on what you want, like if you're looking for hardware trackers, these are the three that I would recommend. I think there's a few others out there. I'm not as familiar, but these three pieces of gear are going to do it. If you're after hardware trackers, you really just have to kind of look at the workflow between the M8 and the Polyend stuff, and then figure out if you want the portability or you want the everything we talked about today on the Tracker Plus. So yes, I'm very excited to once again have a full-sized tracker from Polyend on my desk. I am thrilled they sent this to me. I'm going to be using this so much. I've got a whole bunch of projects from the Mini that I want to port over here and finish on the Tracker Plus. There might be an album, who knows? We'll see. There's a lot of bits and pieces on here that deserve to be finished. Let's wrap this video up by showing you a little of that song I teased in the beginning, the project I was working on that I started last night on the Tracker Plus. Then I worked more on it on the Mini, and then I switched it back to the Tracker Plus at the start of this video. We'll take it from pattern 13, which is the end of a solo section that will be added later, maybe even on the computer, which, by the way, you can export stems to the computer very easily, especially even more easily now with the USB storage transfer. But yeah, we'll take it from there. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.